Welcome back, fans and friends. For this upcoming video, we'll be doing a channel favorite, a newer channel favorite, and not company model of car, but not the usual one we do. This is the generation before that, so we're used to the 60s versions of the Impala. But I did find a rather colorful rendition of the 58 Chevrolet Impala 348, release 81. This one obviously from M2 and not green light, which is normal that we do for Impalas. And this one is colorfully brought to us by Kelly & Sons. You'll see there the paintbrush. So it's obviously an artistic operation in terms of restoring cars. There are some things I like about this one. I do like that muffler appearance underneath there. Hopefully I can get it easily out of there without damaging it with a screwdriver. Blue roof, blue wheels matching. However, all this orange and yellow, maybe just the gold trim, none of it appears to be represented on the car. So front chrome looks a lot like that Cadillac. The Royal Lancer actually I think still looks the best. So I'm just going to put that out there in terms of aesthetics. I'm not talking reliability or anything like that. And then here we have the rest of the artistic deco or whatever we want to call it, representation. Eyes, a mouth, and a nose, I appear them to be. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. And then there's the rear of the car, the gold accents. I do believe it just says Kelly and Son underneath on their right side there. There's the license plate, nothing it says on it. The angry eyebrows for the lights on either side. Typical of the Impalas we are used to later down the line. Less of the flare and wave. Everything becomes a bit more angular and boxy. So, just going to go ahead and get out of the package. We know that it comes out with the standard M2 plastic case, which protects it from damage. As we can see there, the whole backdrop folds out if you want to keep it in diorama format. As we all know and love. That's the one thing M2 does very different. To be fair, the cardboard obviously will eventually go bad, but it will leave you with the plastic. And as you can see here, there's a lot of plastic. So there we have the M2 and the car itself, looking even better when there's nothing on the shadow. I believe that's a paintbrush and or trident over the hood. And then I like, so it does say Kelly there, Kelly & Sons. And another paintbrush there. Highly reflective chrome, pearlescent paint, everything we know and love. Eventually, if they do happen to release a different version of the car and or a version with a different engine, because as we know, these M2 Deluxes have a Ford coming up, and unfortunately, it will not have these fairly easy to open the doors. That's great. Opening doors, which is kind of bad, because if you're going to pay the amount for this, you could probably just, if it's available, grab a green light and it'll be extremely similar, although they don't make this generation of the car. So wheels are all nice and even. You do have some flare for the rear wheel well there, and it is up there too. I do like the accents and the streaks, done very nicely, painted relatively linearly, nothing cut off, nothing drooping, nothing sagging. The side mirror, like I pointed out before, comes out with the doors. Right and left sides nearly identical. I don't see where the gas cap is. I don't know how important that is to people. Perhaps it is just, I'm just not seeing it. Anyway, no chips, no dents. Nice and easy to see into the cabin. Cabin is nice and plain. I would like for everybody to see the fact that the seats have a white appearance to them with a black background. It looks really nice. Unfortunately, this is not a convertible. You can just see there. I do believe the back seats are done like that as well, so it's a little bit harder to see, but it is there. You can see really well done for once. No, M2 actually does a good job sometimes, and sometimes they don't. It's just really unusual. So this one here, like I said, late last year, 210th day. I'm going to hopefully try to get it out without stripping the screws. Unfortunately, they do use very soft screws. It's probably not a cost-cutting measure. It's how many millions of these things can we get for the lowest amount of money. While that does sound like a cost-cutting measure, remember, they're not a computer company. So I did it on the first try with my trusty Klein micro screwdriver. I do computer work, like I said, so that's why I have that. I buy good things to do good work occasionally when I do get the time and money. So there's the car off the base. It does run reasonably well. Can't complain about that. But we're all here to see the underside, and you can just see the muffler detail done relatively well on the world's thinnest wheels. Doesn't take too much of detail to make something look average to look really good, and that's what they've done here with this car. I've already shown how this thing scissors open. You can just see there the screws for the doors. See, that's where they lock into place. So if you ever need to do repairs and or replace it, you can actually use these screws in this. I don't recommend it, just get new ones, but these are the screws for the base of the vehicle. That is the so this screw I've burned up quite a few times. I've shown it once. If you want me to do it again, I'll do it again. Basically, you take this out, and there is a pin in the back here. You can't obviously see it because it slots in underneath where this license plate is, and the car just opens up like that, and you can just take the whole thing apart. And so there we have it. The last thing I'm going to do before I stop boring my fans and friends to death with this video is the engine. So the hood doesn't open up really well, but the engine is done reasonably well in M2 style. I will try to angle the light better. And so there you have it. It does look really good. They could have done some things better. I will just, because I forgot, so I guess that's not the end, is I will go into the fact that this is one of the fewer M2s. Actually, it's the 1950s M2s. A lot of them is you have here inserts for the headlights, I mean, and all this chrome. You can never go wrong. But definitely you do notice with certain companies, you can see there it's not quite level, the engine deck right here, and I do feel it moving, but I don't want to keep pushing it. But you do see here the radiator is connected to the oil pan with a black line hose over the orange. It does look really nice. So if that's the detail they're going to start putting on it, that's great. So as I bought this, the price didn't increase. But as you can see, it does look really nice. What I usually do is for these YouTube videos, after I'm done, if I decide to keep it, I will put it like this. On that, in that, and in here. So it'll be basically like how looks really nice. Because like I said, they're perfect for displaying. They're reasonably cheap. Sometimes they're done really well. Sometimes they're done really poorly. This one I'd say is done better than what they usually do. Anyway, fans and friends, 348 engine from a 1958 Impala. I don't believe there was a trim on this. We just go by the engine. Like, for example, it's not an SS or anything, or RS or whatever. It actually might have been the period before they started doing that. Anyway, for GM cars. Thank you for watching. This is Thomas from Toronto, and till the next one.